open a beer and listen to those beer-loving cash flow guys.
Hey, it's Mike and Blaine, and this is episode 79, and I can't believe we did 79 of these, but I'm excited. Today's going to be another good day, and guess what? I get to see my man, Blaine Birch. Is it next weekend in person?
Like a week and a bit, I think.
Yeah, week and a bit. Is that Canadian? Is that Canadian timekeeping?
That's just giving her over here, you know. That's how it goes.
Just giving her every day. Just giving her. So, how come your camera's so awesome and mine's got this weird? I don't know.
You got it's like a
haze.
It's a haze. You're like in a fog with a bunch of light. I don't know. It's fine. People think you're somewhere hot.
Yeah, I'm just emanating whatever this is. Haze. Confusion. I'm surrounding people with confusion right now. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. But it'll be clear by the end of the show. There we go.
Yeah. So, very cool, man. So, hey, well, check this out. This pool's just about ready.
Nice.
It's just about ready. We got our furniture in now. This next week. So next week, by the time we're doing this, we should be about 99% of the way done.
Nice.
So that thing's about done. I had a weird. All right. So when I bought this house, right, or built it, I guess a year and a half, 2 years ago now, it was almost a half acre. Right? It's like less than a half acre.
Yeah.
So I bought a riding lawnmower. And at the time, the riding lawnmower, and again, I'm cash flow Mike, right? The riding lawnmower was like $14.99. Yeah. So then I bought the bagger attachment, which was another $300. So I'm like $1,700 in. And so what's happened over the last 2 years, right? I used the riding lawnmower. And everybody in the neighborhood made fun of me because I'm the only guy in the neighborhood with a riding lawnmower. But I'm like going, it took a long time. This is a used to. Because now I have the deck. Now I got the pool. So I've got like 75% of the backyard is now unmowable, unmanageable. It's manageable, but it's not. You don't have to maintain it with a mower.
So you'll have to take a little video of you doing like the little 3 little turns and done.
Yeah, but I did. Here's what I did. I did exactly what Blaine Birch would do. So I went back to Home Depot and I said, "Holy smokes! They raised the prices on these things. A brand new mower like I bought is $2,500."
Oh, nice! You got a few bucks in that mower.
The bagger attachment is now $500. So everything came up that much. It's like $3,000, and I've got like $1,700 in.
Yeah.
So I put it on Facebook Marketplace at $1,950.
Nice. Yeah, make a profit.
I said, my dumb mistake. You're going to save money, right? If you go buy new. There's only 16 hours on this mower. 16 hours. That's all it's on it.
Yeah.
I got $1,700 for it today.
Sweet. Well.
Yeah. So, it was like almost a break-even proposition for this thing. So, I mean, that never happens to me where I actually almost break even on a dumb decision.
When it's a dumb decision, it's rare that it happens. You got to be lucky.
Yeah. Well, but that time when I bought the motor in the beginning, I wasn't drinking. But today we're drinking. So what are you drinking?
Okay. So today I finally, now I got to tell you, 13.6%. So I picked a little bit heavier than I normally do. But I love these guys. And I just had a chance to get one the other day. And it's Prairie Artisan Ales. And it's Mo Peanut, Mo Problems. And I thought it was just hilarious. And Prairie Artisan Ales, I love these guys. I think they're out of Oklahoma or something. I should have looked that up because I love these guys. Terrific beer, and this, oh man, it is delicious, and it is a nice 13+% stout, but it is super peanutty. So more peanut, more problem. Yes, but awesome.
So I can anticipate having to cut you off at a later question in about 40 minutes.
Yeah, I know. Well, when I start just dragging on, everybody just know Mike will cut me off because I'll be rambling. That's when you know that I've got through my beer.
All right, so check this out, right? Remember, Neighbor Pat's been sponsoring me for I had 4 beers in a row, bing,
Yep.
bing, bing, bing.
Yeah.
He comes to me. He's like going, oh my God, I don't have another beer for you. I don't have one ready.
Oh, no.
I don't have one ready.
Yeah.
That's what he says. Because it takes time to do these things, right?
yeah,
I don't have one ready.
yeah.
He says, then he brings me, though, in replacement, a Mama's Pumpkin Pie, from
Nice.
Martin House up in Fort Worth, Texas, and it's a pumpkin pie sour, right? So I'm like, oh my God, and I've never had it, so I'm excited. I've been sitting on this for about a week because he brought it over last week, going, hey, I don't know what to do. I don't have a beer for you, right?
Oh, man. For all the beer, Pat, for all the beer you've given Mike, he should be bringing you 6-packs over or something.
Easy.
Yeah,
Don't be committing me to things.
Oh, so, okay. I just, a slight variation, a little twist off of beer. So, because I'm thinking is Pat has lots of beer.
Yep.
So this is maybe what you could get for him. Last week, I just decided, for a little while, I'm like, I need to make an old-fashioned in my house. I just decided one day, I have to make an old-fashioned. So I went and got a nice bottle of bourbon. I went over to this new liquor place in town called Trevor's. They were great. They walked me through a whole bunch of stuff. They let me taste test a whole bunch of stuff. I got this really terrific bottle of bourbon. I made my actual first old-fashioned myself with the whole orange peel, the bitters, the sweet, everything. And it was delicious. It worked really well. So I felt like, wow, I feel like a bartender now. I made one and it was actually really good. So I'm quite excited about that.
Okay, so you probably don't know this about me, but you might have even seen the T-shirt where I've got coffee, beer, whiskey.
Okay.
That's on my T-shirt. Right? Usually I got one like that.
I had to just look up just because I do want to promote them a little bit. Heaven's Door whiskey. It was terrific. I threw a little picture up on Instagram and they commented on my picture, but really terrific bourbon. So I just wanted to promote them as well. So whiskey of the day as well.
All right. Well, I'm going to tell you what. I don't want you to fall into the trap I fell into. Right now that you brought bourbon into the podcast. Because 10 years ago, I bought one decanter. I'm like going, you know what? Most fancy, sophisticated men have a decanter. I'm going to get one. so I put the bourbon inside the decanter.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, that's like a siren call of decanters around the world, because if you have one, they multiply. and so then Courtney goes, oh, well, we can have a bar cart, and you've got your decanter, and I'll get 2 more decanters that kind of go with it, and it will look really nice in the bar cart.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, somebody else sees that I have 3 decanters, and so they bring me one. And then her in-laws, or my in-laws, her parents, said, oh, Mike likes decanters, and then they bring me one. I got 8 decanters.
It's like fondue pots. They just kind of multiply. Eh?
It's like you put 1 cow refrigerator magnet on, and then you get a whole refrigerator full of cow magnets.
Yeah. They just grow. And so how do you see? This would be the problem I'd have. I'd fill the decanters, and I couldn't remember which one is which and what I bought to put it in the first place.
Dude, we bought a labeler. A couple of different reasons why. All right.
Okay.
One is I put a label on the bottom of the bottle. So I'm going, would you like Michter's?
Okay. Well, I will credit you with putting it on the bottom of the bottle, because as soon as you said we bought a label maker, I thought fancy and sophisticated gentleman just went out the window with a label maker.
All right, so we put it on the bottom of the bottle.
Okay, that's cool. Yep.
But then if you come through my house, there were so many light switches that we labeled them all. Living room cans, fireplace, front entry, inside lights, outside lights.
You should just be like everybody else, and you flick the switches. Oh, fireplace. Nope, light. No. It's just 5 years later, I still don't know which does what.
Hey, that works unless you have 2 switches control the same light.
Oh yeah,
like one on opposite side, and that's what we have. We're like going, okay, now we're really confused. So,
yeah.
And that's almost a half a day exercise, just labeling the light switches.
Yes, and hilarious that you've labeled your light switches too. So,
well, I would say that we could probably peel the labels off of 25% of them. Because if you really think about it, you don't really mess with that many light switches in your house.
No. Yeah. I usually just we just have our windows open. I'm like, man, never turn the lights on. Maybe a lamp here and there, but most of the pot lights and stuff, they're not on until I'm cooking anyway. So anyway, we are like we're going to go through an entire episode without actually talking about anything but beer, bourbon, and that. Well, change it, beer, bourbon, and backyard maintenance or something.
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, that's right. Okay, so you want to know the topic?
I would love to know the topic. Yeah.
All right, so I saw this one and it just kind of like going, yes, I really think that way.
Yep.
But then I went. Then as I started thinking about it, I went like 17 other places with it. So I'm like, going, that's exactly the topic we need.
Yep.
All right, so. First of all, it's by Edwin Land, right? It's a quote by Edwin Land. And everybody's like going, who the hell is that? You might not know Edwin Land, but you probably have heard of Polaroid.
Okay.
Right? So he is that's one of his corporations, is Polaroid.
Okay. So, you're just about to tell the quote? Okay. Drum roll. Supposed to be starting.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
That was a little delayed.
Yeah, okay. Then it should be a da-da-da after that because that was you're getting better. Oh, there you go. See?
It's just delayed. I don't know. I'm gonna have to get some of my own. I'm gonna get some good Canadian ones up there for next week maybe. So.
All right. So here's the quote. Now I shortened it for the description that maybe you can use, but it's. An invention that is quickly accepted will turn out to be a rather trivial alteration of something that has already existed. So what he's saying is that most things that we quickly accept are really just variations of things we already know.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? That's the way I interpreted that. And what I can tell you is that if you look back, think of Airbnb, think of Uber, we already had taxis, we already had hotels. These are really just variations. The sharing economy is really just a variation of our real life.
Yeah, absolutely. And, something that is so brand new and out of left field, it would be hard to get acceptance because how do you even explain it? How do you get people to... And you know what? Is anything of true value when it hasn't had a build-up? Where it hasn't built on something else. Like everything seems to build on something else. And the best innovation in the world is basically building on something that it's kind of already there, but it does kind of a crappy job of something. And it's just building on it.
You know a company that got screwed, right? In this whole variation of something we already know about? TiVo, right? What I mean by that is they really said, oh, well, we already got VCRs. We can already record stuff. We got those type of things. But they went on demand. They could skip commercials. They could do, identify your viewing habits, recommend things for you. But it was so early, the market goes, what the hell?
Yeah.
No, I'm not ready for you to have that much inclusion into my house. Yeah. And now every device in our house has that much, inclusion. But they were so early, so ahead of the curve of being able to be giving you the exact concierge service that you need at the household level that it freaked people out.
Yeah. Yeah, and it does surprise me a little bit, to be honest, because there already were VCRs, so it is kind of an evolution. But I think they went. What they should have done is just said, "Hey, digital record, and maybe you can ask if you want suggestions," because I think they made it. They creeped everybody out, I think, is the problem, and now it's kind of the norm. You're not as creeped out, I guess, by stuff like that. But when I look back, you see all these inventions, like the first laser disc. Remember, they were about they were the size of a record album, and just sliding this whole thing
Exactly.
in.
Yep.
And barely lasted, and then the DVD just wiped it out. Well, DVD is just like a new format of the same thing. It was an evolution. And then streaming's knocked that out, except that streaming was, again, it's an evolution. It started with like email or whatever, and started to move up, and it just was a natural evolution.
Well, with streaming, though, it went from like you had to record it, right? Remember, it was like, record your show, and it wouldn't record it on a VCR or DVD. It would record it on your local machine.
Yeah.
Right. Your cable box or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden it was like on demand. It was like an evolution from storing it there, or I can still record it and have it in the library. Mm-hmm. But now I don't know that anybody really uses that. I think they more go on demand. They use favorites so they don't have to search for it. Oh, I want to know, I don't know, Boston Illegal, America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
And they can get to it faster.
Well, like I had, it was a big, it felt big at the time, but like at one time I had probably 20,000 songs on my phone downloaded. Like it took all the space and on my computer, and you're trying to figure out which songs do I want because I don't have enough room for them. And then Spotify changed all that. Mm-hmm. I'm like, if it's not on Spotify, I don't really listen to it. And I still have probably a bunch of songs on a drive somewhere. And I paid for a bunch of that too. I'm not like, I downloaded, a bunch like a jillion years ago. I ripped CDs, buy the CD. Before I got rid of the CD, I actually ripped the songs and digitized them. But there's a lot of money in there. Like I wasn't just all free stuff. I paid for that stuff. And now it doesn't matter because unless it's on like Spotify or whatever, I'm like, I don't care. I just listen to that. Or except for my record album player. See, that's how low tech I am here. I've got my albums, which I love, but it's one or the other, right? It's like old record player when I'm in my office, and then like Spotify everywhere else.
Hey, I'm going to tell you what, I still buy music.
I buy albums. I listen to those up there. Yeah.
But the thing about it is that with the subscription, there might be a point in time where I'm like, I don't want to subscribe anymore. I got enough. Or I just want to have that song so I can create my own playlist. It's got my own stuff. And everybody go, oh, you can do that on Spotify. You can do that on, Amazon or Apple. It doesn't feel the same as me having. Yeah, go ahead.
But you know what I just realized was the reason I love Spotify so much is because of TiVo. Because Spotify helps me discover new music based on the music I have, which is what is so valuable because my playlists keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger because it keeps finding new stuff for me. And I would never have thought of it except that was one of the first ones was TiVo. And like you said, they got screwed because they're actually started what everybody takes for granted now.
Dude, I mean, Simon Sinek would say that, we even use TiVo as a verb sometimes for just digital on demand recordings or recording to some digital cloud. They're going, we'll just TiVo it. But we're talking about a DVR or the things that we're using now, the Apple subscriptions.
Yeah, I got to mention one Canadian thing. And I don't know if it's all the cable companies when we were on.
Nobody's going to know it, so don't.
They would always call it a PVR because they had a personal video recorder. And you just like became ubiquitous, so I didn't really think about a PVR. And then I come down here and I say PVR, and people are like, "What are you, stupid? It's a DVR." And I had no answer. Like digital video recorder. I'm like, "What's the P stand for?" Personal. Like it just is so lame, right? So I still get mixed up with that because it's so stupid, right? Like they actually have they different acronyms, so dumb. But anyway,
is that a PT shirt? That's your personal T-shirt.
Yeah, exactly. A P-shirt.
Yes, to have a T-shirt. It's my personal shirt. It's not a T-shirt.
My P-shirt. Oh, and I gotta order one of our T-shirts actually, but I gotta log into this. I gotta help get your help to log in and get a T-shirt. So
I meant to wear mine. I wore it. Nice. I wore it the other day. Yeah. So I actually like it. Now I gave the flesh color one that you hated.
That's so awful.
I gave that to the stepdaughter because she goes, "Oh my God, this is awesome!" I'm like, that's a lot more pink than I thought it'd be. so I gave that one away, and I got the dark blue one right now.
Okay,
so I got the dark blue.
I somehow got logged out, and I got to get logged back in so I can order my shirt and a mug. I got a cool mug, that metal mug I want to get. So
I definitely want the mug. Yeah, I want the mug.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
All right, so let me ask you this: we're coming up on we're still at 21 minutes. So, but I had this thought right when I read this quote.
Yep.
Then I'm going, okay, how do I apply that to my life? And I'm thinking, well, I'm just looking around the room. I'm like going, oh, here's a guitar, here's a wall, here's a bell, here's a book, here's the, and I'm like going, everything I see was once someone's idea, but wasn't an original idea.
Yeah.
Right? Or is it a variation of somebody else? There has to be an original thought somewhere.
Yeah, and it's hard to imagine because they build on even like you look at at the OpenAI today and ChatGPT or whatever, like it's pretty incredible what it does, but it's like
that with Excel. I can do that with Excel.
But that's what, like, years ago it all started with a little itty bitty intelligence, and now it's got up to where it's like, wow, it can actually do some pretty crazy stuff now. But it's just it's evolution, and it finally has hit sort of mainstream because it hit a tipping point with what it does. But that's the amazing thing is, even with evolution, there's a tipping point, and I think in the last 20 years, the best company for hitting that tipping point is Apple, because there was Sony came up with the Walkman, and then of course MP3s. Well, Apple didn't invent that. It didn't invent an MP3 player. It didn't invent any of that stuff. It feels like they wait and wait and wait, and then go, now we've got it at the tipping point. We are the tipping point. Like digital watch. Well, this isn't digital, but I got one somewhere in here, an Apple Watch. When it hits a tipping point, they're the ones that manage to do it over and over again. And I don't know. I will say that the iPhone and the iPad, those are two things that were quite different. They actually they actually built something new there. I don't know if anyone had quite that level, like that was built on a BlackBerry, but Apple, like a touchscreen phone like that is a massive leap, but still built based on something else.
Not really, right? Because there was already computer monitors. Right? It's a variation of a computer monitor. Right? That's what they did. Now the touchscreen, the first touchscreen, that one I could agree with.
Yeah.
Unless you say I'm already touching the keyboard, I'm already touching the keys on my phone. Why can't I duplicate that on glass? That's damn hard. I mean, that's a big leap. I mean, it's a variation, but it's a big leap.
But yeah, like I question now, is there an original thought or is it an evolution? Because like I don't even know if you can. I saw a Far Side the other day, and there was a guy like a big giant stone wheel, and they had strapped the guy to the top, strapped him down, and they're like, "This is the first wheel," and they're going to push him, and of course they'll get run over. But hilarious to look at. But you're like, yeah, like every single thing has been little micro steps, right? It feels like the micro steps are going up, like you're speeding up. It's the little micro steps of evolution. I can't even think of something that was like literally not built on anything else. I don't know. Can you think of anything that doesn't feel like it was built on something else? It just came out of the blue?
Out of the blue? Ooh, that's a good question. That's out of the blue. Yeah, because I mean, you can't even say the microwave. We were already cooking food, right?
Yeah, a different way to heat something, but yeah.
Just a different way to do it. So
yeah, like if a microwave came out and it was levitating people and they started levitating to work, I'm like, oh, that's new. But making something hot, I'm not sure.
You can't even say the telephone because we were already talking. We just weren't talking, in distance.
Well, and it was also an evolution on the what do you call it? Tappity tap 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 tap, like the telegraph. So it still was just like a better putting a signal along the line. Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm having trouble picturing something that doesn't feel like it was just a little baby step on top of something else.
Yeah, and it feels like it's sped up because there were some new technologies that introduced a whole new funnel of other technologies that could happen. But that happened all the way throughout history. from the introduction of, oh my God, we can forge iron. So I don't got to poke you with a stick anymore. I can make a sword.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. There's always an evolution of an idea.
Yeah.
And you're like, where can we really trace back the original idea?
Yeah. But the interesting thing is if you can't, I think as an entrepreneur, innovator, if you cannot see the step right before, you're probably not building something worthwhile. Like, I think you have to be able to picture that and see it and go, that's the problem I'm solving. And it'll be a step forward, but it's not like, reinventing the wheel kind of thing, right? Like it's just a constant buildup.
Yeah, so I saw a video on, I don't know, I'm going to say Facebook Reels today about a guy that built a real life Iron Man suit, right? Now it looks different than the Iron Man suit on, on the movie, but he's got like these big paddles for hands and this backpack, and he's flying around a park in front of a bunch of folks, and he's been able to control it by jumping from pier to pier. Have you seen this?
I've seen the guys with the packs that fly. Like they're quite something.
The jetpacks. But this guy is doing it with just his hands and not like handles, right? Some of the jetpacks I've seen are handles. No, these are like he can move his hands around, and it controls speed, depth, height. And I'm like going, is that? It's not an original idea because we got flight from birds, right?
Well, but it's also like that. Literally, it's just an adaptation. It's a bit of a build on the jetpack, right? Like, which is a little bit of a build on rockets, which is a little bit of a built on fireworks, or like neat. But you could actually follow that lineage back of somebody had a jetpack that they were flying around.
Yeah, but they got that idea from something else. They didn't go, I'm just going to build a jetpack. And there was no concept of flight before that.
Yeah,
right?
there was, of course, there was, yeah. Like even Wright brothers, like there was all kinds of people attempting jumping off of cliffs with stupid wings that didn't work. That's not a great test pilot back about 400 years. Right?
Leonardo da Vinci, had drawings of him trying to build a flying machine.
A helicopter, yeah.
Even before that, it was just a helicopter.
Essentially, the concept was a helicopter where it was, but it looked totally different. But it was it was that concept of lift. But it was just weight, power to thrust for weight. That was the only
even that idea came from birds. Him watching birds and watching how they moved and the movement of their wings and those type of things.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know if there's no debate here. That's a bit of the problem because I can't think of anything that feels like it's like a completely original idea. But I guess that's how do we apply that to business? You're not looking for original idea. You're looking for a problem and look at all the existing solutions. And can you have a dramatic impact on just a better solution?
All right. So who's the sponsor of this week?
Oh, I think it's pretty sure it's you.
All right, so if it's me, hey, I'm Mike Myland. I'm Cashflow Mike. But before I say my commercial, I'm going to say this. If you can go to mikeandblaine.com and in the contact us, you give me an original idea, something that's like, oh, yeah, we didn't think about that because we're not that smart. But put in an original idea that we can talk about on air. And I'm going to buy you a Mike and Blaine t-shirt and send it out to you, right? Your color, your choice, your size, whatever. I will send it out to you. You just put it in the contact us and let us know. Now, that being said, go ahead.
We're not sending the flesh-colored one out. Pick a good color. I'm refused to send the flesh-colored one out.
We should just change the thing where you can't even buy a flesh colored.
I know it's weird, but see now it might have some legs to it because it's maybe it's the evolution from a navy shirt is flesh colored.
The only reason I picked flesh. All right, so it's me. All right, if you're listening to this, I was a dumbass to put a flesh colored T-shirt on the store. But it was because of Blaine's logo It's the closest match I could get to his background, where I could just see the logo because it wasn't transparent, and not have it stand out.
Instead of just texting me and saying, "Hey, can you get me a logo without the background?" But anyway, I digress. Cash Flow Mike, what do you do? You're the sponsor this week. What do you do?
All right, so hey, I help business owners and their advisors, like bookkeepers, like accountants, like CPAs, improve cash flow through a combination of education and training. And currently, I got 4 different ways to work with me. One, just a weekly coaching subscription where you just come on, I answer your questions, or I teach you something every single week. So it's just a monthly subscription. And I'm telling you, you cannot get a financial coach for the price that I offer it for. So go to cashflowmike.com and see that. Secondly, I've got a self-study video course. The Clear Path to Cash is now available in self-paced, self-help study. You get all my resources, all my videos, all the spreadsheets, worksheets, doesn't matter. You do it at your own pace, one price. Don't even have to talk to anybody if you don't want to, but I give you that option in a private Slack channel. Then I've got 2 big products for either a business owner or an accountant. If you're a business owner, it's called a Cash Flow Accelerator, where I work with you personally for 90 days, and I put systems in place with you to make sure you're making more money in your business. If you're an accountant, bookkeeper, want to do advisory services, I got the Pathfinder program, which I help you build your advisory services program in 90 days, and we put it to work together. I'll even help you sell your first one to your first client. So there's cashflowmike.com, and you can go there and check it out and engage with me.
And I'm just going to add a little tidbit on the end here, because I think what Mike is underselling here is the amount of money your business is losing. You have no idea till you talk with them. We're not talking 10 grand here. Most businesses, if you're doing a level of revenue that's in over $1 million or in the hundreds of thousands, you're losing a lot of money. I guarantee you. Talk with Mike. He'll show you it, and you'll be a believer. And then, and if you're advising businesses, go talk with Mike, because he's going to help you do a better job for your customers, but also generate a lot of cash for your business as you move to advisory. So I think Mike, in a lot of ways, I would say do it now, because I'm on Mike all the time to raise his prices, because they are not to the level for what you deliver, to be completely honest. So
I just raised my price. But Pathfinder is 50% off between now and April 30th, which is the Built With You advisory program. So I just raised the price this week.
Still underpriced, I'll guarantee you. But anyway, let's I digress. But,
all right, so can I say something while I was trying to do that commercial? All right, so last week I went to the dentist, and I had a tooth replaced. I got an implant right back here. Something happened a long time ago, and I just got an implant. And the dentist told me what day was this? Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday, because I called it, instead of Fat Tuesday, I was calling it Fat Tooth Day. And the reason why I was calling it that was it feels giant in my mouth. I mean, because if you ever get an implant, there's like 4 months of just healing before they even put the tooth in, like drill in, put a sleeve, those type of things. Well, now there's a tooth there, and my cheek rubs against it, even though it's not bigger than any of the teeth. There was just no tooth there for 4 months. I feel like I'm slurring all the time because that thing hits, and it's a weird feeling. He goes, "It's going to feel giant for a while."
weird.
And it does. Yeah, it's Fat Tooth Day.
Fat Tooth Day. Nice. That's weird, man. But
yeah, so it's really weird. I mean, in my mouth, when I talk, it bothers me. It's like going, you shouldn't have where your cheek hits your tooth and it bothers you when you talk. And I feel like I'm just, it's like your tongue's swollen up like twice its size. Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, that's just another dumb thing, I think.
Good for you with your new tooth. Okay, okay. So I'm here. Oh man, this is a long one. Just a second. Let me hit the button there. That just kept going.
I don't think it was that good. It wasn't that good.
I looked at it. I'm like, holy cow, 36 seconds. That's too long. So I'll get some new. I'll get some cool stuff up here at some point. I'm pretty sure I can upload stuff. Now, here's kind of interesting because I've read articles, and I'm sure you have too, of how influential movies are to innovation. And so it's kind of goes on the topic of you're building on an idea, but it's amazing. Like they always talk about the innovation that came from Star Trek, and the innovation came from Star Wars, and because it's like you get to. It's amazing. Like somebody just kind of came up with an idea, but it's almost like you need to see that. You need to see that idea to build on it, and it led to so much innovation. Star Trek just itself has led to a bunch of innovation.
Yeah, but was it what? Okay, so that's the crux of the whole thing. First of all, I agree with you that life imitates art, right? Somebody draws it, somebody puts it in a movie, a poem, it doesn't matter, and they're like going. Holy smokes, can I do that for real? Can I have, I think I said this on the podcast before, one of the most scariest toys I ever had was that, what is it, that recorder? Whatever it is where you talk to people, Star Trek.
Okay, yeah.
What's that thing? What is that thing called?
Tricorder? Is it tricorder?
Maybe. I don't know. Well, you flip it open, and it was closed, but it looked like a flip phone.
Yeah. I much more. I'm a Star Wars nerd. Star Trek, I don't know much about, to be honest. So.
All right, so you opened it up, and it was like a Klingon on the screen. It would just scare me. I'm like, I was a little kid. Like, well, Sam, I want to open that. I won't talk to that guy. I was a little kid, but there has to be a basis for that. And it was probably, we're already talking on the telephone. What if I could see the person? Right, so the idea is an evolution is still the telephone, right? So you're like going, how far back can we go with any of the ideas, even in Star Wars?
I'm curious if the idea for a video telephone, which is now what we're doing right now, like it's constant, right? I wonder, did it show up when they came up with the idea for the phone, or when it came up with the idea for the TV? Like, did they go, oh, what if I could be on there and it could be on a phone? Or was that even imagined, the video part, when you had a phone? Even though that's kind of just an evolution, right?
I think. Now I can't speak for Alexander, right? But I would think that he envisioned when he built the phone. He goes, "I want to talk to somebody like I'm doing right now, where I can see you, I can talk to you, I can communicate with you." But how do I do that when you're on the other side of town or 10 miles away? And maybe he wasn't. He was probably thinking really close, but not in the same house.
Yeah.
I don't think he was thinking about you're across the world, right?
Yeah. It's amazing how quickly this innovation seeps in, and it becomes like, I remember seeing a meme one time, I think it was, or something, where someone was like, the Wi-Fi in the airplane went down, and it's like, this is bullshit. And it's like, like you never had Wi-Fi like a week ago, right? But it's amazing how it seeps in, right? Like when you see things, and if I had seen things on Star Trek years ago or Star Wars or whatever, you'd be just like amazed by it. And I know I probably told this story a few weeks ago, but Heather and I, a couple months ago, were walking through a park in Arizona here. We're out in the park, walking along the cacti and everything, and it is out in the bush basically. And my phone buzzes, and I turn it on, and it's my in-laws off of the coast of Spain on a cruise ship, and they're talking to us over FaceTime. So it's video conferencing while they're in a cruise ship on the other side of the planet, and we're walking through a bloody park in the wilderness. Not quite the wilderness, but obviously within cell phone tower range. But we're talking, and it never even occurred to me that this was anything weird, like amazing. We were just like, oh, that was a trip. Yeah, that's great. And talking with them. And then I hung up, and then I realized, can you imagine that? Like even 10 years ago, 20 years ago, when you're sitting there going, you have a video conference across the globe, and there was no delay, and it was bloody HD. Like it's ridiculous. And you just take it for granted. Like whatever, And it's like I see stuff now, and you're like, at what point is you're like, you're in a traffic jam and you're flying car, and you're like, this is bullshit. Right? Like, at what point do you just like, I don't like it? Just evolves, and your expectations go up so fast, right?
But you got to think about it. The first car was what, 110 years ago?
Yeah, I can't even remember when it was. It was Daimler or Mercedes. It was in Germany. Yeah.
His name was Ford.
No, actually, it wasn't. Ford is credited with the assembly line, but actually the first car was in Germany. So.
I'm just messing with you. I'm messing with you. So.
And the only reason I know is because I watch Totally Something streaming on Netflix, and I watched a documentary on it. That's how I know.
Only in Canada, probably.
yeah. They probably like blacklist those videos down here.
All right, but here's what I'm saying. We'll say it's 100 years ago. That's only one person ago. If you look at the average lifespan, that's how small of timeline things really are. We're like on, somebody that was around when the mobsters, think about that. They might have been born when the mobsters are running around and,
Prohibition.
They might be alive today. Think about that. I'm like going, it's just craziness on how technology, it seems like it's fast, but in human lifetimes, it's really not that many generations ago. And I won't say generations as in father, grandfather. I'm talking about people.
Yeah.
There's only 3 or 4 people that could have been between us and the formation of the country.
But what was amazing is like it's like millions of years to like get to like almost anything, and then it's slow, and now it's accelerated so fast that 100 years ago, like that's not that far. Like it is a little ways off of like the first airplane off of the Wright brothers. I've tried to remember what year that was. Like it is not 1899 or something. Like it's not that far to like F-22. Like it's unbelievable how quickly things have progressed in the last 100 years with AI, microprocessors. Like it's unbelievable how it's accelerated.
All right, so 2 schools of thought there. There were fewer people, right? So you didn't have the acceleration of technology. Now you got 100 kids in a classroom coming up with new stuff to build day after day after day. Whereas there might have been towns 200 years ago that didn't have 100 people in them, right? Total. Yeah. Right. So, I mean, it could be the population explosion also encourages growth, or it's the aliens.
Could be. It absolutely could be. But, I think even with what we're talking about, though, is you're building on things, and it got to a critical mass where you have this base of knowledge and you have this information. But this bugs me. Like, so you have these experts saying like, "Oh, I don't know if there's life in the universe and all this," and you're like, "Well," they seem puzzled by this, and like, yeah, but you're talking about a planet like say 8 million light years away. That is it. Light speed going 8 million years. Like it's so far away that's really hard to get to. But the other thing that I still think about all the time, not all the time, but like the thing that I think about with aliens is out of the entire planet on Earth, there's billions and billions of life forms. Mm-hmm. How many of them can build a rocket?
One.
Just one. So it could be there could be a bunch of, and we want to build a rocket. So it could be billions of planets all over the universe that, billions of life forms, none of them can actually build a rocket. Like a dolphin, super smart. I'm not sure they could ever build a rocket because they don't have fingers. So, I don't okay. I'm getting low on my almost 14% beer here. So you may be taking over a little bit here, Mike.
That's funny. But all right, so think about that. 8 million. We're saying 8 million years away. Right? We're making up a number, right? So don't call popular science on us or something like that.
No, do. We'll argue with them. We don't know anything.
These guys are terrible. But think about it. That means that 8 million years ago, they had to come up with something to get to us today.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous, like thinking. So,
Yeah.
it tells you that, A, we don't know where we are in the technological spectrum of everything that's out there everywhere, right? But what if it's us? What if we're the aliens that are coming up with this stuff and we're going to go out there? In 8 million years from now, somebody's going to encounter a Blaine Junior.
Oh man, like man, do you really want the human race to be like off, populating other worlds with, influencers? Like, something about that just doesn't seem right,
Well, I'm pretty happy with the way things are, right? I like diversity of thought. I like, what we're doing. I don't like exactly everything that happens, but I don't have the curiosity or interest to go somewhere else right now. Right?
No.
I like to see pictures. I like to read about it. I always click on things. I saw a cool animation today about how we think we view the world versus, or not the world, the universe versus the way it actually moves, where the sun isn't static. The sun also moves as well. So it's like a 3D animation of planets around a sun that's also moving, and it looks like a helix almost. Like it's a crazy helix as it's moving as well. So I don't know if the sun is static or if it moves with us and it brings us with us.
I have no idea, but I do. Like, what makes me laugh, like here's scientists saying the universe is expanding. I'm like, you guys don't know what the universe is. Like they think it's a little contained thing. Like the universe might be a grain of sand amongst other universes. Like, you guys really don't know. You have no clue, right? Like,
I told Courtney that the other day. I'm like going, what if we're the parasite on a cell?
Exactly.
Like, we're attacking this cell, as one collective unit.
Exactly. Man, okay. If anyone's still listening live here, this is what happens near the tail end of the show. We're a beer in, couple beer in, heavy beer in, and this one's going into like the cosmos, which is a kind of a fun area to explore.
One of the things I love about doing this podcast with you is that we don't have a lot of rules. We don't have a strong brand code that says I can't go too far left or too far right. It's like going, this is where the conversation went.
This is where it went. This is what it is.
It's not my fault. Think about this. Edwin Land in the 1930s, when he was born or whatever he did, he started this conversation.
Okay.
Right? He's the one that came up with a quote about, how all, inventions that are quickly accepted are just really a variation of somebody else's idea.
I forgot who made the quote. So thanks for reminding me.
I'm trying to bring this back, right?
Yeah.
Remember the inventor of Polaroid, who, by the way, cameras are already existing, photos are already existing. He just made it faster.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. No, I don't know if we offered any insight into the topic or not, but it's interesting. It was an interesting topic. Like, I really enjoyed it.
You're never drinking 13% again.
I got to tell you, I've got a really limited list of stuff I can poke here. So I got to get some sound effects up there this week that are a little more fun than that.
That's funny. All right, so hey, let's kind of bring it to a close. What do you think? Do you think? All right, I'm asking this question. Do you think that an original idea exists in today's generation?
No, I can't think of one. And I challenge you guys to let us know. Send one out, and I'm pretty sure we'll go, yeah, no, it's based on this. Like, I don't know if you can, and I don't know if it's within the human evolution to do that. That is evolution. Like, I don't know if it's in humanity to come up with something completely novel, because we've talked about this before. Your entire brain is built for pattern recognition.
Yeah, exactly right. So I agree with you. I don't think there's an original idea out there. And if there is, I'm buying you a t-shirt. You just have to go to mikeandblaine.com and put it in, contact us.
And we will probably argue with you. And like, even here, putting peanut in was delicious, but I don't know if it's super innovative.
All right. Hey, you have been listening to Mike and Blaine, and this is our podcast. This was episode number 79, and we talked about how there is really not an original idea that gets mass market acceptance. It's always a variation of another idea. That's our position. I challenge you to change it, because Blaine says it can't be done.
I think it can be done. And out of our entire hour-long podcast, we did talk about that for 5 minutes. But that's good. That's all right. And make sure you subscribe. If you're wherever you're, like us, favorite us, whatever, subscribe to us so that you catch our next episode. Next one's 80. It's another round number, so it must be important.
Yeah, it must be. Hey, always good to talk to you. I'm going to see you in a week.
Yeah, man, this could be fun. We're going to have a good time.
A week and a bit.
Week and a bit. Yeah, it's going to be fun, man. Looking forward to it.
Check out their website at mikeandblaine.com. Then subscribe to the podcast and buy these guys a beer.